to another episode of OurStorySoFar.tv. I'm Garrett, and welcome to day 3 of our 5-day series. Today, I'm covering the first 16-bit appearance of the Battletoads. Their game? Battlemaniacs. Yes, in 1993, Battletoads received a 16-bit makeover. The game features the same cartoon-styled attacks which made the original famous. The manual calls these moves smash hits, allowing characters' limbs to take the form of a more devastating weapon. In the original Battletoads on NES, Pimple had been kidnapped and you played as Rash and Zitz. This time, it's Zitz's turn to get kidnapped, leaving the players to choose between Pimple and Rash. They all control the same for the most part, appearing mostly just to have different smash hits. The game stays true to its beat-em-up form, and also true to Battletoads' style in that it features more brawler, turbo tunnel, and rappelling levels, as well as repeats of similar levels from the original Battletoads game that we didn't get to in our previous videos. Although many people see it as a return to form for Rare, some see it as a return to the well. The game doesn't seem to bring much new to the table for some players' tastes, but the formula was still relatively fresh to most people, since there had really only been one prior Battletoads game. And the game does actually have a couple of new surprises. Also returning in Battlemaniacs is the game's notorious difficulty. If you're playing a 2-player game and one player loses all of their lives, it forces both players to drop out, use one of their continues, and go at least partway back through the level you were on. Unforgiving enemies will gleefully trap you into a corner, and speaking of traps, the levels are full of them. Cheap ways to die in an instant cost you all of your health and one of your lives. But this is the difficulty that we discussed as canon, remember? In episode 8 of Our Story So Far, I mentioned the Nintendo Power comic explaining an origin story of the Battletoads. I mentioned how it might be the preferred origin story, and now I can finally explain why. In the comic was discussed a company, Cycone, and these 3 game testers who would become the Battletoads and combat enemies in a virtual world. Well, in Battlemaniacs, the story plays out in a somewhat similar fashion, only in this instance, our protagonists are already the Battletoads. But the Cycone Corporation exists, and many other aspects, such as the game becoming too real or the players getting pulled in, still hold firm. Let's see how the manual breaks this one down while you watch the opening cutscene. At a converted fortress, Gayachongla, high in the Tibetan mountains, the Cycone Corporation is testing its latest invention, the TRIPS-21, an acronym for Total Reality Integrated Player System. TRIPS-21 allows a person to actually enter the gamescape through a unique computer-generated portal. Anyone passing into the portal will have his or her atoms integrated into the gamescape by a complicated process of quantum mechanical osmosis. Present at the test are Mrs. Yoriko Toshoku, president of the Cycone Corporation, her daughter Michiko, Professor T-Bird, and the totally awesome trio Zitz, Rash, and Pimple, otherwise known as the Battletoads. The portal is switched on and the gamescape is revealed, a rolling plain with 4 figures barely visible in the distance. Gradually, the figures get closer and are seen to be the 4 psycho pigs mounted on horseback, the pigs of the apocalypse. Suddenly, the pigs gallop straight at the portal, bursting through it and into the test room. One of them grabs Michiko Toshoku and leaps back through the portal. When Zitz tries to stop them, he's clubbed senseless and draped over a saddle. Before anyone else can do anything, the pigs of the apocalypse are galloping away into the gamescape with their 2 captives. And to make matters worse, the gamescape begins to leak through the portal into our world. A pre-recorded message flashes up on the gamescape screen, confirming Professor T-Bird's suspicion that the evil genius Silas Volkmeyer and his malevolent partner, the Dark Queen, are behind the kidnapping and the gamescape leakage. And it is soon revealed that he is correct. Silas has hooked himself up to a gamescape generator somewhere beyond the portal, with the wicked intention of transforming the entire world into his very own gamescape kingdom, over which he and the Dark Queen will rule. Meanwhile, Michiko and Zitz are being conveyed to his dreaded lair, the Dark Tower, where they will be destined for doom if anyone tries to stop him. But he must be stopped, and Rash and Pimple are the Toads to do it. So there you have it. The Battletoads clearly exist, and they exist on Earth. But they work from some secret bases in Asian mountains and get sucked into video games, but exist outside of the gamescape as the Battletoads already. I'm glad you can keep up. I'm having a hell of a time. And although Battletoad characters would be seen again in arcade form, and as recently as Killer Instinct for the Xbox One, I think it's pretty obvious that there's at least one more chapter of the Battletoads story I've yet to touch on. But I wouldn't want to ruin our story so far. Thanks for watching episode number 10. This is, again, part 3 of our 5-part series, so come back tomorrow and the day after. If you ever somehow start this series in the middle or want to see what you've missed, you can always go to ourstorysofar.tv to find the latest information and all the archived episodes. As always, I really appreciate it if you like, comment, subscribe, and if you want to interact with me directly, hit me up on Twitter, @NewAngel, that's NUANGEL. We'll see you again tomorrow on Our Story So Far.